Well, I have covered way too many stories which show injustice and corruption in the legal system toward Black Americans in this country. Many of the most recent ones are still painfully fresh and are dominating our attention. One such recent senseless and outrageous tragedy is the murder of Botham Jean, the Dallas man gunned down by a uniformed police officer for committing the crime of being in his own home, alone, with his door locked. And now that his family is suffering in the wake of his murder, it seems that the Dallas Police Department won't be satisfied until his reputation and character are also assassinated. You know, it's almost 2019, and there seems to be no shortage of stories to keep me sickened and enraged. It's almost 2019, and there are still police departments in America that run on two entirely different set of books. The Protect and Serve set of books, which seems to apply fairly and equally if you happen to be white, like me. And the other, Frame, Abuse, and Murder set of books for blacks in this country. Some of you may have heard of Raimundo Atesiano, who was, until just a short time ago, the police chief in the small community outside Miami called Biscayne Park. Well, it was Atesiano who figured out the perfect way to have his department have no unsolved crimes. Watch his glowing report from back in 2013 from Atesiano himself.
And one of the great things about being the chief of police of Biscayne Park is that we are truly a family here. A family who works together and is joined by one common cause, which is the protection of life and property for the residents of the village of Biscayne Park. For May, we have Detective Raul Fernandez. And before I let Raul sit down, I want to give you something that I'm also very proud of. This year, as we stand, we have a 100% clearance rate on burglary cases in the village of Biscayne Park. This is the first time that I've ever known that to happen in any department that I've ever been in. He's a great part of the reason.
Yeah, that's right. Under Police Chief Atesiano, the Florida village of Biscayne Park had a 100% clearance rate for burglaries and other crimes. And this is such a remarkable accomplishment that by his own account, it's the very first time he's known it to happen. Which is why his mustachioed pumpkin head is absolutely radiating as he practically breaks his own arm, patting himself and Officer Raul Fernandez on the back. Are you curious as to the secret of such amazing police work? Seriously, do you want to know how the police department of Biscayne Park had solved every single solitary burglary in town? Well, the solution was pinning the unsolved crimes on innocent black men. And I don't have to say that Atesiano and the officers under his command allegedly did this. I don't need to say that. There is absolutely no dispute as to the facts. Last Friday, September 14th, Atesiano formally entered a guilty plea after an investigation by the Justice Department. And his guilty plea came after 3 of his officers had pleaded guilty to their own crimes. At least 4 people in a police department of 12 have admitted to being guilty of depriving innocent people of their civil rights and making false arrests. That's a full 1/3 of an entire police department conspiring to destroy innocent black lives. In this case, we should feel lucky, though, that there were whistleblowers. We are lucky that there were cracks in the blue wall of silence. Lucky that the wall did not hold, and there were honest actors who were disgusted by the crimes committed by their fellow officers and their chief. The city manager for Biscayne Park ordered an investigation after receiving letters from within the department, and luckily, the process worked. One officer, Anthony Delatorre, revealed in an internal probe that there were clear marching orders from the top. Quote, if they had burglaries that are open cases that are not solved yet, if you see anybody black walking through our streets and they have somewhat of a record, arrest them so we can pin them for all the burglaries, he said. Right now, as far as we know, there have been at least 3 black men, well, One was just a boy, but at least 3 who suffered at the hands of Biscayne Park Police Department. At this point, 2 of them are only identified by their initials as they try to desperately restore their lives. One of them, identified as TD, was just a 16-year-old kid when these monsters pinned 4 burglaries on him. The third has been revealed to be Clarence Desrelot. He served 5 years of his life behind bars for crimes he didn't commit, and then was deported to Haiti as a result of his manufactured criminal record. What do you call someone like Police Chief Atesiano and this sinister band of conspirators? They have destroyed lives and left behind trauma in their wake of terror. They have stolen years of what should have been good living for these men. Atesiano's sentencing is only in a few weeks, and the really gross part about this is that he is likely to only receive 2 years behind bars as part of a plea agreement. That, my friends, is not justice. So let's be honest. Are people kneeling during the anthem because they want to disrespect the troops or the flag? Are they chanting Black Lives Matter because they're just being forgetful about all those other lives? Talk about this story, people. Share this story. And if someone you know lets out even a peep about their Nikes or about ungrateful quarterbacks hating on the soldiers, I hope you figure out a way to tell them about what happened in Biscayne Park, Florida.